Jet Sport Racing on BT Sport, brought to you by BRP and Avos Yamaha.
Here we are, round 3 of the British Jet Sport Championships, and we're at Clacton-on-Sea. Yes, it's a sea race. Normally we're inland on lakes, but not this time, and this adds a completely different slant to the racing. It will favour some riders more than others, but whatever the situation, it's going to be an exciting weekend racing. As ever, joining me to discuss the weekend's proceedings is our resident expert, Thumper. Now, very different to where we normally are for a start. There's salt in this bit, isn't there?
There is, Rob. We're on the sea, we're in Clacton-on-Sea, and it's a completely different kettle of fish.
Fast and bumpy. They're the words I would use to describe it.
Getting the power down is so difficult this weekend, Rob. The guys are riding into the wind and into the tide. They're going to be taking off, and when they're out the water, they've got no drive whatsoever. So they've got to try and get the speed right. They're not necessarily trying to get top speed. They're just trying to keep the ski in the water so they can get drive.
Absolutely. We've seen a few people fall off as well. So hanging on is going to be one thing that they need to do too. You've got to do that anyway, but it's a lot harder here, particularly with these waves.
It's extremely difficult, and only the tough survive.
So first race of the weekend, and we've got Ski GP, absolutely fantastic class, but my word, they've got their work cut out. It's going to be bumpy out there for them.
They really have, Rob. The conditions are roughing up. We're going to see some freestyling, not just racing.
Absolutely. I think there might be the odd thrill and spill, but let's have a look at the championship tables. At the top, we've got Simon Gill, and he is at home on water like this. Number 23, keep an eye out for him, leading the pack with 320 points. Second place at the moment, after 2 rounds, Richard Gilbert, boat 85, 298 points, and then just 1 point behind, boat 88, last year's defending champion, Jason Young. Going to be really, really exciting, this one. And this is it, Ski GP, they're underway, and let's have a look as they head out along the straight.
Simon Gill's off!
Oh my word.
Big off by Simon Gill.
It's back up again. I tell you what, he does get up quick. We started off, Simon Gill dropped on that start straight. The pack then shuffled itself, and we will now find the order they're running in as they come up. And look at that, Harry Robinson is stretching his legs at the front at the end of this first lap. He takes the whole shot, and he's on the ride of his life at the moment. There's a lot of carnage going on behind him, and he's got a bit of clean water. He's stretching his legs, but look at this. Simon Gill is catching up. He's in 3rd place at the moment, and he is catching. You can never write him off, can you, Thumper?
No, not at all. You can see he had a problem on the whole shot. He came off, and he ended up virtually at the back of the pack, and he's worked his way back through already.
Let's stick now with our race leader, Harry Robinson. He's taking time away from Simon Gill at the moment. He had a great first round, didn't he? Absolutely fantastic first round at Kingsbury.
He did. He's not had the greatest of weekends so far, but looks like he's putting it right in this race. Harry Robinson is steaming ahead, and I can't see Simon Gill catching him at the moment. He's not narrowing the gap, because Simon is getting big air. He's struggling, look at him. He's out the water more than he's in it.
Absolutely. I was talking to Simon earlier about his ski, and we were talking about weight, and he said that he's on quite a light ski. His is stock. So he's in the GP class on the stock ski. This is the same ski that he races in the stock class as well. So he's underpowered in comparison with everyone else.
Doesn't make a lot of difference in this choppy water, Rob. It's all about getting the power down, and they're struggling to get the power down. Extra power makes no difference.
Let's have a look at the battle now for 3rd and 4th place. It's a new one that's developing, and it is a certain young lady called Molly Fern. She's battling with the defending champion Jason Young for that 3rd and 4th slot, and this is turning into a fantastic race.
It's getting exciting already, Rob, and we're not even halfway through. Molly Fern is on a charge. That's
Simon Gill's down in the tray again. He's over.
Oh, he's
directly
off.
in front of him.
And Jason Young is right behind. Jason Young's gone through into second place. And Molly Fern is not far behind. Simon Gill's between Jason Young and Molly Fern is attacking Simon Gill.
This is an absolutely incredible race at the moment. Simon Gill has been dominant all the way through the weekend in both of the classes, but it might just be a little bit too much for him to keep it up for this final race.
This is so close. She's taken him on the outside. She's got momentum. Can she go round that buoy and come out on top?
She's been pushed wide again in exactly the same manoeuvre.
But she's got him, Rob. She's got him. Molly Fern moves up to third place.
Absolutely incredible. Let's go to the final straight, to the man that has led this race all the way from the start in these incredibly difficult conditions down here at Clacton. Harry Robinson, what a race you have ridden, young man. That has been incredible. He crosses the finish line, deserved leader, with miles between him and second.
That is what you call domination, and we didn't expect that at all, but look what Harry's done. He's not just beaten everybody, he's absolutely mullered the lot of them. This is going to go all the way to the wire because Molly's got momentum as Jason Young's got the hammer down.
This is going to be incredible.
And Molly's
close.
still
Molly's
going for it.
We're coming up now.
There's
Jason Young
100
second.
metres
Come on,
left.
Oh!
Jason Young just takes the second spot for Molly Fern, who was only a ski length behind him.
Absolutely incredible. What a race
that was.
Harry, that was an absolutely faultless ride.
Yeah, I finished just behind Kenny on the earl shot, and then he had a bit of a tumble, and I just checked out and just kept my own speed and just kept calm, and I was just smooth ride.
It looked like it was effortless, to be honest, from the sidelines.
Yeah, I kind of like to keep a loose posture when I ride on the sea, because if you tighten up, you just go come off. I just like to ride loose with the waves and just keep myself on, and staying on is the best way to be in the sea, to be honest with you.
Absolutely, and it showed there. Simon Gill looked like he's been very strong all weekend, but just couldn't do it this time.
Yeah, he's been great all weekend. He's been hard to catch, and when you're in front of him, it kind of gives you that push as well. You know, I didn't know where he was, so I just kept my focus on staying in front, and it paid off. So I'm really happy.
Good result for championship points, that too.
Yeah, very good. I had not the best of rounds last round, but this will be really strong to come back with, and I'm looking forward to the next round.
Oh, Jason, that was an amazingly exciting race. Cool, blimey.
Yeah, it's tough conditions out there. It's been just this afternoon. She's chopped up so much bread this morning, and I always go out there not expect to do too well, but ended up with a second overall on that last race.
Absolutely, there was a big scrap between you and Molly as well.
Yeah, she's. I think she's pulling out the bag this weekend from Y Boston last race weekend. She was mid-pack. This weekend she's right up there, sort of leading some of the races, and well done to her. So it's been good.
She nearly had you at the end.
I know. I come around that last corner at the back straight. I thought, here we go, checker flag. And I just seen the corner of my eye. And I thought, no, just keep it going a bit more. I could just see it just in the corner of my eye. I thought, just got it.
How to Race, sponsored by 158 Performance.
One of the things I'd like to know is what's the difference riding out here on the sea rather than inland on nice flat lakes? And I've got a man that knows a few things about this style of racing. Simon, firstly, big difference, isn't it? Is it just down to bump?
No, it's a big difference. You have to learn and sort of read the waves, sort of a bit like Supercross. You have to be looking a good 6 foot, 8 foot in front of you to see what's coming up next. It is very technical. I was brought up on this sort of stuff from 8 years of age, so it's come sort of naturally, really.
What about the setup of the machines?
I'm running exactly the same setup now as I'm running in the lake, so I just deal with it. It's quite easy, really, for me.
Is there an advantage having a heavier ski here?
Not really. Too heavy can be a disadvantage because you're landing harder and you don't really get the acceleration to get out of trouble. Too light is a disadvantage, so it's sort of quite difficult, really.
Bit of a case of bottle, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you've either got it or you haven't in these sort of conditions. Just have to be brave and know what you're doing and take advantage of it.
Let's talk about the air as well, because some of these waves can be quite big. If you start flying, of course you're not putting any power down.
Yeah, if you're in the air, you're not going forward, so you have to be driving at all time as much as you can. So yeah, it's like I said, it's that looking 6 foot in front of you, so you know what's coming up next. Either you're going to do a double or a triple, and just skim the tops of them. So it's all mindset, really.
So what about cornering then? On a lake it's flat, it's too bumpy here, isn't it? You've got to pick your route.
It's totally different between lakes and here. On a lake you're down low and in tight in the corners because you know you've got a next buoy coming, probably 10 foot. Out in the sea, it's like 20, 30 foot for the next buoy. And you're up out the waves, you're never down low because you can't see what's going on.
It's very clear that the riders that are used to riding in the sea are doing better this weekend.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. The riders, like as me and Phil, we've been in it all the time, so we know exactly what's coming and what's going on.
Jet Sport Racing on BT Sport, brought to you by BRP and Avos Yamaha. Jet Sport Racing on BT Sport, brought to you by BRP and Avos Yamaha.
Welcome back to the British Jet Sport Championships down here at sunny Clacton-on-Sea. Absolutely fantastic day. The racing is brilliant. And next up, it is ski stock. Tell us, ski stock, out of the box racing.
Pretty much, Rob. They're allowed to make some handling modifications to the ski, but it's pretty much as they come from the showroom.
Nice and affordable. If you're into it or you want to get into it, this is the sort of race that you can enter very, very easily. Let's have a look at the championship tables after round 2. Top of the pile at the moment is Richard Gilbert, 329 points, being chased by the local man Danny Mace on 294. Next up at 275, it is Molly Fern, but we could have a surprise this weekend. She's been out on international duties, practicing heavily, and she could be a big threat. So this is it, Thumper ski stock. Let's have a look. Who's your money on for the whole shot?
Simon Gill has got the inside track.
Got to be the one. Let's get started. They're about to start and they're off, and that is a fantastic start. And we see on the left hand side number 23, the bright green helmet of Simon Gill. Richard Gilbert is down already, dropped into the tray there. Doesn't like the bumpy water at all, does Richard. And just look at Simon Gill right out there at the front, and that start straight is a good 500 plus metres as they go all the way out towards the wind farm around that buoy there.
He also had the
Tight
advantage
in.
of the inside line as well, Rob. And who's that having to go round the outside of him?
That is incredible. I think that's Danny Mace on the other side of him.
Could well
there.
be.
That's a great start for Danny Mace. My word, he's taken the race to Simon Gill. Oh, and Simon Gill is down. Oh, you don't see that very often. He's going to get back up. I tell you what, Simon Gill, he's like the Colin McRae of jet ski racing, isn't he? If in doubt, flat out, but he does have the odd spill. Oh, and Simon Gill has gone for it. Look at that, he overtakes on the start line.
And look at this, Rob. Molly Fern in third place is gaining ground on Richard Gilbert in second place. The front three are getting away from the rest of the pack, which is led by Harrison Malin and Steve Comstock.
So let's get back with the race now, and we see first, second and third in the lead. Simon Gill stretching his legs there, bouncing over those waves, kicking up that spray as he comes through that finish line. In the air for a couple of seconds then. The problem is he's got to put a lot of space between him and second place. We've got a battle on here. We've got Molly Fern chasing down Richard Gilbert. Molly's flying there. Is she going to take Richard? She comes directly and she's got him. Molly Fern has overtaken Richard Gilbert directly in front of the crowds here at Clacton, and she is on fire. This is going to be a battle and a half now. The crowds are
But
cheering.
Richard Gilbert's fighting back, and he's taken the place back. He got the inside line on that left-hand turn, and he took the place back from her. She had tremendous drive, but then she caught a bit of air, and Richard Gilbert went flying through and took his place back.
Richard Gilbert drops into his tray, bumpy up by that far side, and Molly Fern is catching him. He's back on his feet again, but Molly Fern has closed the gap, and the battle here is between second and third.
Molly Fern is putting Richard Gilbert under tremendous pressure. She's well into his dirty water now. She can get a bungee cord on the back of that
She's going to get him.
ski,
He's gone.
and he's gone down. She's got him. She's into second.
Simon Gill now round the last corner. He's just got a straight of about 500 metres or so to go. He could actually take it really easy, but knowing Simon as we do, there's no way he will, and we can see that he's airborne as much as in the water almost.
It's hammer down Sunday for Simon Gill as he heads towards the finishing line in the checkered flag. It's another race win for
3 out of
Simon
3.
Gill.
That is a brilliant weekend for him.
Here comes Molly Fern. She's going to take a tremendous second place.
Very, very well deserved. That will be a crowd pleaser too. Well done, young lady. That was an amazing race. You made that look easy.
Yeah, it was quite nice out there, to be honest. It's getting a lot rougher now, tides come high, so we're on the change. The wind's blowing back out to sea, so yeah, it'll start to get even rougher soon as well, as soon as the tide goes back out. Yeah, it's been, it was good. Just didn't stress out too much about not getting a whole shot. I knew I'd pick them off. Just take time and just cruised out. I'm out again now in GP, so time to recover.
3 races, 3 wins. Great weekend.
Yeah, got to catch up from the other weekend. A few mistakes from the other weekend, but yeah, we're back. I knew I'd do well here anyway.
Molly, that was an absolutely incredible race. Well done. How was it out there?
It was pretty rough, you know. Richard didn't let me get past him very easily, so we had a good battle, and it was a good race. I enjoyed myself out there.
For me, that's one of the races of the weekend, seeing that battle between the two of you. It's brilliant. You've been out on the sea a little bit practicing as well. Yeah,
I've been out in Italy at the World Championship representing GB, the GB girls in particular. But yeah, that's worked in my favour really, coming to this round. I feel like I'm ready for it, and I feel pretty comfortable out there.
Tech Talk, sponsored by Sapphire Signs.
So tech time now, and we're going to look at some of the officials that are involved in the racing. It's important, obviously, to know exactly what's going on and who's won. How on earth do they do that? Firstly, we have a race director. What does he do?
He coordinates all of the race official robs, both on the water and off the water. We've got lap scorers on and off the water. This weekend we've got a lap scorer in the boat. We normally have them in the tower if we're at a lake. And they're there to mark everybody as they come across the line, make sure everybody takes the buoys as they should, and mark the winners.
Fantastic. You've also got marshals out on the water as well. They're keeping an eye to make sure there's no rule infringements,
yes,
cutting across each other. And also they act as safety marshals too, don't they? So if anybody falls off, they can go and pick them up and stick them back on again.
They're all in radio contact with the race director, so any issues in the race whatsoever, the race director can make decisions, get information out to everybody, and either stop the race or let the tabulators know who's being docked a lap or who's being disqualified.
Start marshal as well. There is somebody at the start, firstly in fresh water, making sure that the elastic band is on the snapping machine, as it were, to make sure it starts properly. Here, just a flag today.
Yeah, the start marshal is probably the most important person, because we don't want riders crossing on the start line. We need them to go in a straight line and not cross in front of each other, and that happens all too often.
Well, there you go. Lots and lots of people involved in that. You've heard their rank and order. It isn't just about getting on a ski and blasting around a course. Well, this is it, time for the big one. This is the Runabout GPs, and this is where the horsepower is unleashed on the North Sea. My word, it's going to be quick, isn't it, this?
I'm really looking forward to this GP runabout class on the sea at Clacton.
They can stretch their legs now. Normally they're restricted, the courses are a little bit tighter. And I've got to say, having seen a couple of motos already, wow, Phil Pope, he's going to be unstoppable, surely. Can James Bushell catch him? Let's look at those two first.
Well, Phil Pope is the class act this weekend. The tables have turned. Phil Pope is in front of James Bushell. James has got it all to do as the race gets underway.
And that is a fantastic start. And they're disappearing up to that red and white buoy. Around the back we see the wind vanes, that wind farm just off the coast in the distance. They almost go out to that. And we'll see who is in the lead when they come to the finish line and we can catch sight. And I would say it looks like Phil Pope is in the lead there.
It's Phil Pope in the lead, and Lewis Aitken was in second, but James Bushell has took him on the line.
That was incredible. Lewis Aitken caught a wave and nearly took off. James Bushell in second place there, and Phil Pope, he is just such an aggressive rider in these waves, isn't he? Let's talk about Aimee Mcpherson, actually, a lady in a class that is dominated by big, strong men. She certainly holds her own, doesn't she?
She's a very talented jet ski racer, Rob. She really is hanging in there with the big boys. She's got a lot of talent. She's only been doing GP class for a couple of seasons, and we're just seeing her improve every time she goes out. She really could be a British champion one day. Oh, hang on a minute. It looks like James Bushell's having a go at Phil Pope on the inside. But as James is right on top of Phil Pope, they're hitting a back marker as well. Shouldn't cause too much problems because there is plenty of water.
Almost neck and neck as they come around and just split there down the far left-hand side, back at the pier end of this course. And let's have a look how they take this last red buoy before the flat straight. James has gone in a little bit tighter.
Phil went nice and wide and faced onto the chop. James went really tight and he's closed up even further.
Remember, last lap there was a good 100 metres or so difference. It was 3.2 seconds. Let's time it now. Well, 2.6 seconds was the difference on that timing there. So James has taken half a second off him on that lap. Big, fit, strong man, James Bushell. And I remember earlier on in the series, Phil was saying that his race fitness was down a little bit. He was hoping to pull it back up again, and will that play? They've done a lot of racing this weekend. It's been very, very physical out there, and it looks like James Bushell is very slowly reeling in Phil Pope.
Something's happened to James Bushell. He's backed off considerably.
We've missed it while we were looking at a battle elsewhere. Something has happened, and the gap now has extended between Phil Pope and James Bushell. That's 10 seconds.
I suspect there's something wrong with James Bushell's ski.
His steering, he's broken his steering. Without any shadow of a doubt. Did you see how he went around that left-hand buoy there? He's struggling with his steering, James. You watch when he goes left.
That didn't turn left very well at all.
See, he's coming right. He'll kick in right very, very easily. But left is the issue. But let's get back now to the man that has led this race all the way from the very start. He's coming in around the final red buoy and up the straight for the last time. Phil Pope, he's come back to this series, back to this class after a few years out, and he has absolutely stamped his authority on it. Brilliant race, didn't put a foot wrong all the way through there.
No, I took that one a bit easy. It's a bit funny conditions out there today. It's a bit flat, but it's fast, but there's still some choppy bits. But yeah, nice and easy, and took the win eventually.
So that's 3 out of 3 this weekend. Puts you in very good standing for the next round. Back on fresh water again.
Yeah, the next one might be a bit different. It's a bit of a small course next time. I think the next one will suit James. But we'll see. We'll see what we bring and see what happens.
James looked difficult out there. What happened?
Yeah, me and Phil was having a battle, and then I lost the sponson. There's a piece on the side that helps it turn. So without that, to be honest with you, it's the first time I've ever broke one. Yeah, they're pretty difficult. The jet ski don't turn without them really. So it was my left side. I couldn't turn left really. But,
yeah, we could see that. You were taking half a second a lap off him, and it looked like another lap you might be right on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously we was up there with him, but then that fell off. So anyway, it was a good race, pretty good battle. Conditions are not too bad out there. It's a bit choppy, which is perfect really. So we'll go and see what we can do next race.
So that's it for us and round 3 at Clacton. It's been a brilliant, albeit bumpy weekend. Join us next time where round 4 heads north to Crosby in Liverpool.
Let's go!
Jet Sport Racing on BT Sport, brought to you by BRP and Avos Yamaha.